We still fighting, we ain't giving up now. Who could be satisfied for what we living in now? I think about now.
This is where I grew up, this building, 611. From my bedroom window as a kid, I remember watching these buildings go abandoned and then burned and then get torn down. And then the city all of a sudden decided they weren't going to build the new Fordham Hospital. And the Department of Sanitation dumped their garbage here. Basically, these 7.5 acres were just sort of like no man's land. And I think it was one of the things that when the Northwest Bronx did come in and start organizing, it was sort of already imprinted in my head that if I didn't want to see this repeated again and again, that this was something that would be worth getting involved in. And
never been the type to start a hassle with a man, nor am I the type to build a castle on some sand. Know that I believe in an even match. Never counted chickens before they even hatched. Why you think we're rejecting this economy? Not building it on debt, but with autonomy.
Banks no longer would lend to landlords who own properties in the area. So either the guys walked away or they flipped to these robber barons just sort of like came in and built the buildings until they could burn them down and collect insurance money. And that's the way it was in the mid-70s when the coalition got started.
The banks stole our cash, burned our dreams to ash. They gave out billions of bonuses, that's why the economy crashed. Then they dashed to beg with such skill, convinced our government to hand us back the bill. We paid it back, told them to fall back. They gave bonuses again, they on the same track. Then they paid officials to lay back while they funded every poor people of color attack.
UNHP was actually started by the coalition and Fordham University coming together, and the coalition had a reinvestment project and they were looking to attract more outside investment into the Northwest Bronx for doing housing work specifically, and they approached Fordham University to be their community partner, their institutional partner in attracting more investment dollars for the Bronx.
Back in the day, when the coalition was getting formed, that neighborhood was very active in organizing. And one of the first buildings that was in danger of going abandoned was one of the 10 Commandments. And they had a sweat equity group made up of some people that are still around who actually redeveloped that building and lived in it as an HDFC for a good long time. Now it's managed by Fordham Bedford. Across from 765 was a bunch of vacant, burned out buildings that were eventually developed into what it is now, which is the Mapes Avenue ball field. It's a permanent site. I can't tell you how hard Pat Dillon and Austin Jacobo and the rest of the Crotona Community Coalition fought to have it cleared and then have it designated a permanent site ball field. And we had Koch actually come out and throw the first ball when it was first opened. The Mapes Avenue ball field was really sort of like a marker of what could become.
Every family will be healed. Every single broken lot will turn into a field. Everybody will become a universal donor. Every single worker will also become an owner.
We have a big database called our Building Indicator Project, and we've been able to use this to support a lot of community groups, especially Northwest Bronx Coalition, with their tenant organizers and also with their weatherization programs.
People get desperate and that's the need to do something. And one of the first things they start to do is to talk between themselves. What can we do? How can we do this? Where can we get help? And that's how it grows, and it builds into a functional tenant association. And they get involved with community-based nonprofits like the Northwest Bronx Community Clergy Coalition.
On this past January 13th, the mayor, the speaker, Christine Quinn, Commissioner Sestero, and a number of elected officials, including the Bronx Borough President, announced that Our Lady of Angels, a new proactive initiative that HPD is embarking on. And the pilot that we actually started was with NWBCC. And I believe it was the success of working collaboratively with NWPCC and with the tenant leaders in those buildings really kind of set the groundwork for the proactive preservation initiative.
And if you're going to be united, you're going to be united. Definitely. If you're going to do it, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Go ahead.
They continue to give the same types of loans that ended up foreclosing on millions of homes. We live the story and don't like how it sounds, but we ain't gonna shut up and just let it drown us. Because we're planning to go farther than that. Yeah, the Bronx is just smarter than that.
We do a lot of protesting of landlords, so it's really exciting with the weatherization.
It's nice to work with a good guy for change.
That's right.
If we had to raise the rents, you raise the rent in an effort to raise enough money to change the windows in this building, which were really, the original windows and needed to be changed, that would have come at such a cost, such an expense to the residents that would, the increase that would be needed to raise that. You just don't want to see that happen. How do you keep housing affordable and still be able to keep up with, again, things like that need to be invested in it? So this was just an amazing thing that was able to take place.
There was more wind coming in my house than going outside. Those windows were so difficult to open and close. At least for me they were. And again, there were still drafts and whatnot. I can't tell you how thrilled I am. I don't put the heat on. I am so comfortable in the apartment. I love it. It's easy to clean, and it's beautiful.
Installed low E Aragon windows, which is easy to open, easy to lock. They also have screens, and we make sure that tenants have the window guards on. Light fixtures, lighting, as far as light fixtures, which was done by Riverdale Electric, in like hallways, bathroom, kitchen, and we also install shower heads, low flow shower heads, kitchen, bathroom aerator adapters. Also, we install refrigerators in the building, energy efficient, Energy Star.
I would like for you to know that we received through DOE roughly $345 million to weatherize units throughout the entire state of New York. We expect to weatherize 50,000 units by the end of this year. That translates roughly into not only units weatherized, but it's an economic development engine as well. We're looking at over 1,000 people being employed throughout the state to conduct this type of work, in addition to the vendors and suppliers that are also a part of the initiative.
That stimulus budget was almost like in the 40s when people geared up for war. Nobody ever puts that much money toward one purpose and gives you, like an instant deadline to get rid of it. It's amazing what the weatherization groups have been able to do in the 2 years that stimulus money came down the road.
In our community, Mothers on the Move, our members been saying, where is the stimulus and where is it going and all that other stuff. So they've been complaining about it, not seeing it in the community. So when Fran contacted us and we spoke about how Mothers on the Move could participate and we could do the intake, so they're talking to them about the environment and making the connection about the climate change and stuff that they're probably going to be hearing about all the time. So we are glad that we also could do the education with the tenants.
Thank God we got renewable memory, because truth is, fossil fuels ain't renewable energy, stupid. An economy based on oil and fire is like an hourglass just waiting to expire. Could treat Mother Nature like a martyr, but in fact, the Bronx is just smarter than that.
I think building the green economy from the ground up and understanding how we can be, more creative about, the environment around us can create a lot more job opportunities.
We know that you can't pay somebody $90 an hour to put in insulation in an old building, where you're trying to keep it affordable. But that doesn't mean that you can't pay somebody a living wage and that you can't, to make their own community greener, and to create local economic development while keeping projects affordable. And that's why it's been such a privilege working with Northwest Bronx. They understand this. They refer us quality candidates to join our union. They work with us to coordinate with property management firms that are looking to green their neighborhood and to do so in a way that maximizes the local economic development by putting people on the job locally.
My job is to make sure that our contractors pay prevailing wages to all of the workers on our projects. In addition, I am the minority business of color, and women-owned business outreach officer for the organization. I assist these companies in getting certified so that they can bid on government-sponsored job opportunities.
We could set up a minimum wage as a starter, but you know, the Bronx is just smarter.
My vision for a green job is having this space where there's like maybe in a greenhouse on top of a building, like in the old farm library, when we get a new community space. Having this greenhouse with this garden where young people are going in there and they're growing their own vegetables, their own fruits. They're sitting there seeding and composting and selling these fruits that they grew themselves to people in the community, to restaurants, to people outside of the community, taking these vegetables other places so that people that don't have access to it can have them.
Last fall I was able to go through the first Bronx Green Jobs Academy at Hostos Community College, funded by Northwest Bronx Community College Coalition. I made a green wall and put it up in a school, a wall that actually has fruit growing from it, fruits and vegetables. I recommend all youth to go through it because that is also a part of my vision, because everybody must be educated on what's good for them and what's good for their environment and their community.
And our economy will raise up from the floor. Wealth will be developed so no longer we are poor. No longer going to schools with perplexed looks, because every single student will have a seat and books. Prison funds will be redirected. Farmlands will be resurrected. Police brutality will be deflected. Immigrants will be protected. And we'll be fighting until all of this is charter. Because in fact, the Bronx is just smarter than that. Yep. Recreating the system of how we barter. Because in fact, the Bronx is just smarter than that.
I like doing what I'm doing. I'm happy that, you know, we've had the opportunity to do what I like all my life.
We gotta start building institutions. I ain't talking about physical institutions, I'm talking about institutions. We gotta grow, gotta have our own black social theory. We gotta politically educate ourselves, defend ourselves. We gotta have economic means, military means.